showers in the afternoon. Friday night, west winds around 5 knots, becoming east after midnight. Seas 1 foot or less. Scattered showers and thunderstorms. Saturday, southeast winds around 5 knots.
Alrighty, my friends, what is going on, you guys? And welcome back to another live stream, my friends. This is going to be basically a pre-event live stream. We're going to be going over tomorrow's severe weather event here, as we are expecting a decent amount of severe weather to occur across portions of the Northeast for tomorrow. What this live stream is going to be all about is what we can expect, where we can expect it, and how bad is it expected to be. So obviously, we're going to be giving you guys all sides of information here for this live stream. But anyways, you guys, hope you're doing great. Glad to have you guys here once again. It seemed like a lot of you guys really enjoyed that update video we did earlier here, so I'm very, very glad, and I'm definitely glad to give, obviously keep you guys updated and keep up to date, you guys. But obviously, thank you all so much for joining us here for today. So really not much has happened in the current spectrum compared to the last update I just did here a couple hours ago. But obviously, we have some new model runs. We're going to be talking about the tropics as well, because obviously we have some activity still ongoing in the tropics. So we're going to need to discuss that too since we're here. Might as well. But first of all, let's go ahead and see who's here. I see Jonathan's here. What's up, Jonathan? Hope you're doing all right. Seeing that Caden was here as well. Let's see, Abby's here saying hi. Long time no see. It's been a while, Abby. Glad to have you here back. Let's see, Combat Hamster says yay. What's up? Hope you're doing good. Let's see, Self-Care is here as well. What's up? Hope you're doing all right, my friends. But like I said, you guys, thank you so much for joining us here for today. So yeah, like I said, the reason we're here today is because we have a pretty decent severe threat for tomorrow. Yes, tornadoes will be a possibility. Tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds is all going to be a concern. Obviously, lightning too. Lightning, it's its own hazard and it's its own little thing. But anyways, so yeah, it's honestly going to it's really gonna be quite the ride tomorrow, and we're gonna be discussing what you guys can expect and where you guys can expect it. Let's see, Combat says, in my opinion, what would I say is the best weather program? Okay, so there's a lot of good weather programs out there, but some are better for different things, if that makes sense. If you're just conditionally looking at models, I'd recommend like online sources, because that's better. Now this program I use is actually really good, and like I said, I love to stream with this program just because obviously it gives me, some good views for you guys and stuff like that. But yeah. Anyways, my friends, let's just go ahead and jump on into it here. We're going to turn on tomorrow's outlook. And yes, we have ourselves a severe weather threat across the Northeast here. States does include portions of northeastern Pennsylvania, portions here of western, central, and eastern New York State, also portions here of northern New Jersey. This include Long Island and New York City, obviously. Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, all included with tomorrow's severe weather threat. Now, like I said, there is all types of severe weather being a possibility. Once again, ranging from possible tornadoes to large hail to damaging winds. Obviously, regardless, we got to keep an eye on this here very, very closely. Like I said, obviously, we can't expect kind of widespread severe weather. We'll be going over the models and stuff like that. I can tell you right now, back when we were looking at the video earlier, or back when we were doing our video earlier, we saw that initiation time was around 3 or 4 p.m. And yes, we are going to be live for you guys in order to obviously give you guys, the severe weather and coverage and stuff like that, as it's going to be needed tomorrow, because like I said, widespread severe weather is possible. Now, as we were watching, the storm mode appeared to be mostly individual. It looked like a lot of cluster of storms happening. That's according to one model we looked at. Now, there's actually some new updates here that might suggest otherwise, in which we are going to watch that as well. Let's go ahead and see. Robert says, good evening, Robert. Thank you for joining us here, my friend. Let's see, Michael's here as well, saying hello. What's up, Michael? Thank you for joining us here. Thank you for joining us today, guys. Greatly, greatly appreciated, and I hope y'all are having a wonderful night here so far. Let's go and see. Will there be a hurricane in Florida? So, Emily, right now there is no support suggesting a tornado or suggesting a hurricane in Florida anytime soon. No, but I will tell you that the tropics is definitely heating up, and we definitely should be aware. You should honestly start paying attention more to the weather here over the next few weeks to months, because hurricane season's about to peak here next month, kind of around the first week into the second week of September. So obviously things are going to peak here. But anyways, so yeah, so here's tomorrow's severe weather threat. We have a level 2 out of 5. I mean, regardless of what level it is, it's still considered a severe threat. We have a better chance of seeing some severe weather across the yellow areas here for tomorrow. And like I said, obviously in regard to things, we actually have Like I said, all different types of weather being possible. The main concern, though, is damaging winds. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what the concern is here. So here's the damaging wind probability. The area's here in the brown, kind of on the outskirts here. This is in the region where there's 5% chance we could see some damaging winds, 60 miles per hour or more. So we could have some localized damaging wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. Obviously, this can cause, a bit of damage. It could definitely, for the loose things outside, this can definitely be a concern here. So we're going to need to watch this here over the next little bit. So obviously damaging winds is the main concern. Secondary concern is indeed hail. There's a small little patch here, kind of across portions of eastern New York into portions of Vermont, New Hampshire, portions of Massachusetts, and Connecticut. But that is kind of what we are watching here for the hail threat. And the tornado threat is honestly relatively near the same area. It's actually relatively inside of the same area here. And like I said, it's a 2% chance, meaning it's not the biggest chance in the world, but I will tell you what, it is a pretty large risk, and it does cover a lot of ground. So obviously, the larger the risk it does end up getting, the more potentially, the more potential we have for a tornado happening overall in general. So we should just be prepared. We should honestly expect the worst to happen, okay? So obviously we need to, it's better to over-prepare than under-prepare, as under-preparing can lead to more deaths, unfortunately. So that is the reason why we are live here today, is to give you guys the latest information of what is currently happening here, the latest models, the latest guidance, outlooks, etc. But yeah, so like I said, you guys, we're definitely going to watch it here very, very closely. So once again, yeah, tornadoes will be a concern here for tomorrow. And like I said, if you guys are here in the dark green and the yellow, that is our severe weather threat here for tomorrow. Now for today, just to briefly talk about it, I mean, we do have ourselves those two areas we are watching. An isolated tornado or two could be possible across one of the regions here, which is on the right side. Yeah, there's that small little tornado threat. We discussed this earlier here. Now, it's the same level of severity as tomorrow's, but you got to think, this is a lot smaller of an area. I mean, just for an example, look at that. So look at the size of that risk here for today compared to tomorrow. As you can see, it's a little decent bit bigger. So obviously, where there's a bigger risk, there's obviously a better chance of seeing that at all. So we got some questions coming on in here. Let's go ahead and see if we can get to any of these. So yeah, once again, Emily, we're not expecting any hurricane action to take place near Florida anytime soon. But like I said, we definitely got to watch the tropics, though, because obviously things are indeed heating up here. Let me go ahead and see here if there's a tornado warning tomorrow, going to the basement or a closet until warning is done. Yeah, like I said, we'll let you guys know what happens. If there's a tornado warning, for sure that we are going to be here for you guys and obviously alert you and tell you what to do in case. Is North Carolina going to get hit by a hurricane in the future? I'm kind of worried of getting hit. I've never been in a hurricane. So, once again, kind of similar thing for you as it is for Florida. I mean, like I said, as of right now, there is no immediate concerns of any tropical activity hitting any of those locations, being North Carolina or Florida. As of right now, I mean, obviously, if we were expecting an area to get hit, we would definitely let you know about it. But like I said, obviously, right now, we're paying attention to is the tropics, because yes, they are heating up, and there might be some storms heading in towards the United States' coast here down in the extended range, but that's still literally a few weeks out. So obviously this could still definitely change as models are still very, very unstable. They're very, very out-organized, and they're basically showing a whole bunch of stuff. As we're going to look at that all here in a minute as well. But as of right now, for North Carolina or Florida, yeah, we're not expecting any landfall to occur with any tropical systems anytime soon. So we're looking all right for now. But obviously, I can't tell you longer down in the, I can't tell you towards the later portion of the hurricane season. So obviously, I mean, yeah, I mean the weather rapidly changes a lot, and models just aren't good enough to reach out that far. So obviously, yeah, and there still is a lot of disagreement going on right now. Let's see here. Brad says, "Hola, what's up? Hope you're doing all right there, Brad. Glad to have you here, my friend." Let's see here. Let's go see. Yeah, hurricane can damage. Don't wish bad on Floridians. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go see. It's better than earthquakes like I'm used to. Well, Robert, obviously, yeah, earthquakes can be quite interesting as well. Yeah, the earthquakes are definitely pretty bad. Let's see. Forecaster Mia says, "Hey, what's up? Hope you're doing all right there, Forecaster Mia. Hope you're doing all right, my friend." So, I tell you what we're going to do, guys. We're going to go ahead and switch on over here. We're going to pull up some models here. I want to go ahead and show you guys some guidance in regard to timing and overall what we can expect with these storms here. So let me go ahead and switch the scene over here, you guys, just to kind of show you what we could expect. So, This is the latest NAM 3-kilometer model, by the way. Like I said, this is just one model. We'll be taking a look at a few of them here, because obviously it's not good to just look at one. So we'll be taking a look at a few models here to obviously get an average, obviously get an average and see what we're talking about. But regardless, though, so we're taking a look at the northeast. The time is in the upper left-hand corner if you guys do want to follow along here. So this is in regard to time, and we're actually a little bit too far ahead there. Yep, we are on the latest. We actually are on the latest run here. Now let's go ahead and see what we're expecting. So obviously around midnight here tonight, kind of quiet across the northeast as it kind of is right now. A few pop-up showers, honestly, could not be rolled out across some of the states here. But watch this. So as we do get this disturbance, as we do get this troughing motion. Now, as we were watching earlier, like I was saying, it was more of a big cluster of storms that was expected here. And it looks like on the latest one, it's more of a linear line. It looks like it's a lot more of a possible linear line, basically meaning long line of storms. I mean, this is looking like it's covering like several hundred miles long in regard to things. You can barely see it. It gets kind of caught up here at the top from your guys' view, but it does go up a little bit more further. But anyway, so yeah, so that's kind of what we're looking at here. Let's go see Self-Care with the super chat. Thank you so much, man. Greatly appreciate it. Definitely means a lot. But yeah, so yeah, it's definitely something that we got to watch out for. I mean, honestly, I'd even say that there could be some, obviously, some individual cells firing off ahead of the front. I'd say it's definitely a possibility, in which we are going to definitely keep an eye on it. But once again, like I was saying, low pressure system will be driving its way through the region here, obviously, bringing that colder air behind it and, kind of pushing this whole line of storms forward. So this is going to be in the region. Let's go see once again. Thank you so much, Self-Care. Greatly appreciate it for the super chat. It means a lot, man. Thank you so much. But anyway, so yeah. It's going to be something that we do need to watch here. Like I was saying, storms are still actually kind of looking like they might fire off a little bit more earlier, but I think we're still going to try to go live around 3 or 4 tomorrow, because that's whenever it does show, obviously a little bit of, these lines starting to get pretty nasty. But like I was saying, though, that's just one model. That's like right here on the afternoon hours here for tomorrow. Now, let's go ahead and switch to a different run. So that was the NAM 3-kilometer model. Let's move over to the HRRR. We're going to probably have to jump back a few runs here because... obviously, the shorter run, obviously, the ones that every single 6 hours are a little bit longer than the ones that are updated every hour. But anyway, so kind of a similar thing here, according to the HRRR. So there might be a little bit of agreement going on here, obviously, kind of showing the same thing. That line does not go as far north as according to what the NAM model has to say. Once again, this is around 2 o'clock, so maybe a little bit more early. So depending on conditions here, I'm going to keep an eye on the models, and if we have to go live earlier, we will. Whenever things start firing off here, just expect us to be live here as of right now. I'd say it's between 2 and 4 as of right now. That's the target zone. But anyway, so yeah, once again, kind of showing maybe a line forming, maybe a potential line, maybe a few cells ahead of it could indeed be a possibility. But I mean, yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. That kind of is what it looks like it's going to happen. Robert says, I love the rain here and the light shows at night. Absolutely. Oh, I definitely agree with you on that one. But yeah, so this little troughing, this little area disturbance, little low pressure system, we'll be tracking its way down here for tomorrow. And yeah, this is going to be something we need to watch. Now let's go and bring up a different model. That was the, we looked at NAM 3K, we looked at HRRR. Let's bring up FV3. Obviously, as many views as we can get is the better. Now, this one obviously does kind of show a bit of a different story. This one kind of shows to what we were looking at in the video, of kind of more of a, like I said, it kind of shows more of that clustered motion being possible. As you can actually see right here, it's a lot more scattered, a lot more isolated cells being possible. So there's a little bit of disagreement between the models, but like I was saying, though, the HRRR and the NAM model are pretty daggone close to each other, kind of showing that that main line. But I'd honestly say, I mean, my personal opinion, what I think is going to happen with this, I think we're going to see that line form kind of similar to what the NAM and the HRRR model are saying. You can see this line forming, and I honestly believe that what we call it in the warm sector, basically this is all the cold air back and behind it, there's actually warm air being rushed up in front of it. Now, I think that we could have a few cells ahead of the line that could individually go severe. I'd say it's a possibility, and then the cold front will come behind and sweep up the rest of the instability, kind of ending the day. But yeah, so I don't honestly expect maybe the beginning to start off multicellular, then kind of maybe gradually, gradually increase into a line. That's probably the most likely scenario of what I believe. So as the system does move its way out here. So that was our third model. Now let's go ahead and take a look at one more model. This is the HRDPS. This one's a little bit crazy. As you can obviously tell, I don't think that this is going to look this violent. I mean, obviously these models are a little bit especially the ones we don't really look at these ones too much. They're a little bit odd, but you can obviously tell. I mean, regardless, yeah. So storms are kind of expected to fire off maybe between 2, 3, or 4. We're gonna probably shoot for 3 to call it safe. You know, if storms are a little late, then obviously we'll we'll be able to adjust the time if needed. But so yeah, I mean that's just kind of what I'm expecting here in regard to things. I mean, we're dealing with some pretty some pretty interesting conditions. And if we take a look here back at the live view of what's going on, you can already see that disturbance already tracking east. I mean, all this rain that you see up there, this is currently that system, and this will be tracking its way to the east here, obviously, tomorrow delivering that severe weather potential. So it's definitely something that we do need to watch out for, and something that we definitely need to continue watching, very, very for sure. Let's see here. Shell says, hi, Andrew. What's up, Shell? Hope you're doing all right. Glad to have you here. Hope you're doing good. Let's see. Local says mild to weak thunderstorms tonight for northeast Indiana. Yeah, so like I was saying, for the northeast, it would not be impossible. I mean, if we did see an isolated shower or two, I mean, look at the radar now, you can kind of see some things popping up here. I mean, nothing too exponentially crazy, but definitely not anything severe. But I would say that, honestly, I would definitely say that, we could watch out for a few showers being possible, but the main event's going to happen tomorrow. Like I was saying, tomorrow, we got to really keep an eye on on the weather here for tomorrow, because, like I was saying, I mean, in regard to things, all types of hazards is possible, from tornadoes to large hail to damaging winds. It's all going to be a possibility. Like I said, I'm not trying to, like make you guys scared or anything. Obviously, we're actually here because I want you guys to be prepared. Obviously, I want you guys to be ready. And like I said, obviously, it's great. It's definitely a really good thing to be over-prepared than under-prepared as well. And, I'm definitely glad to be here for you guys in order to give you all, this much needed, basically a heads up in what we're doing here for. So that's kind of why we're here. So now we're going to kind of dive more into the specifications of tomorrow's event here. Some of you guys are probably not going to understand some of the stuff I'm going to say, but I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to explain it to you. We're going to look at the instability and stuff like that here in the atmosphere. So let's go ahead and take a look at this here. We're going to go ahead and move over here. Obviously, we're already here, but here's the instability. Now, but think of this, like I was saying before, think of this like the fuel in your gas tank in your car. So you need an engine, and you need fuel to get places. And this is basically our fuel that's in our tank. So look out for values being over 500. And anything past that, relatively good for severe weather. Really over 1,000 is kind of the Goldilocks. 1,000+ zone is kind of the Goldilocks zone. But anyway, so we can see that there's going to be loads and loads of energy being injected here to the north for tomorrow. I mean, like I said, screw 500, because we're talking 2,500 nearly. So we're talking nearly 4 times that. That's pretty crazy. So definitely, there's going to be plenty of energy, plenty of fuel in our gas tank here for tomorrow's event to kick off here. I mean, look, all across the northeast, that fuel is there. And it kind of shows a little bit more isolated fuel. I've been noticing with the last few runs of this, really kind of showing a lot of energy being in place between portions of New York City, obviously pretty much towards Boston, Massachusetts. So basically between New York and Boston, according to this model here, it's looking a bit interesting in regard to our fuel situation here. Now we're going to grab a sounding. We're going to grab one here in Western Connecticut. We're going to see what's going on down here, just to grab a quick little view and just to kind of break down and see if anything's going to happen here. You guys are not going to understand any of this. I'm just going to look at it briefly, tell you guys what I see out of this. I'll be able to break it down for you. So here's our wind shear profile. Obviously, you're looking here at the ground. This is the surface. This is well up in the sky. If you're going up here, this is way up in the sky. It's at the ground. The red's your temperature. Each one of these is in Celsius. Your degree line here, basically, and the green's your dew point. So basically between the blue line and the red, that's showing tons of energy there. That's all that instability we were just looking at, and it goes all the way up to around 12 kilometers high. So we're going to have some pretty tall thunderstorms happening for tomorrow. There's a decent amount of wind shear, definitely enough to cause some isolated severe storms here. Absolutely. DK period, that's kind of a signature we usually look for damaging winds. Honestly, it's not too high. I'd say damaging winds is definitely a possibility. And honestly, I'd even say hail could be a possibility as well. And maybe an isolated tornado too. There's a little bit of a little hook going on with this. Nothing too crazy. It's not even concerning, really. But it's going to be something that we need to watch out for. So once again, that was a sounding in Western Connecticut. We're going to grab another one here. Let's say in let's say towards Boston. Let's just grab another sounding here for Boston, just to kind of get an idea of what's going on down here in regard to things. Okay, now this one is showing, obviously, kind of a similar thing here. It's kind of similar to the last sounding, so there's not much damaging wind potential, but like I said, obviously I think that's going to be the main concern, though. You can't just rely directly off of that. There's other factors that does get included with this as well. So yeah, I'd say damaging winds is a concern. Obviously some hail could not be ruled out either, but you can kind of see how the winds, they're blowing to the northeast at the surface, and as you go up in the air, they kind of a little bit move more to the east. So obviously you get a little bit more easterly motion the higher you go up in the atmosphere, and you can see here on the photograph, there's a bit of a hook going on there, a little bit of a sickle shape. So that could indicate maybe a tornado or two being possible. So it's going to be something that we might need to watch out here for. Definitely is something we might need to keep our eyes on here. We're going to zoom down a few hours. This is for, let's see, this will be indeed for 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern. So at this point, the sun has gone down. We're going to grab one across central Massachusetts this time. And we're going to see what's going on in the atmosphere. It's a good thing to do this, you guys, because obviously if we didn't do this, then we couldn't really break the event in parts and stuff like that. But anyway, so in regard to this one, once again, storm tops around 12 kilometers high. Yeah, nothing really too different going on between all these soundings. So it looks like there's a lot of agreement. Tons and tons of energy is going to be isolated across portions here of the Northeast. And obviously, some pretty big cities from New York to Boston, I think, is going to be right there in that Goldilocks zone. I mean, it looks like there's going to be lots of energy. Like I said, according to the model here, the RAP model, there's going to be lots and lots of energy. And like I said, storm initiation is expected around 3 or 4. I'd say, honestly, between 2 and 4, to be honest. We're probably going to be going live around 3 or so. But yeah. I mean, obviously, that's one model. I mean, here's the NAM model, kind of showing some very similar things here. Actually, pretty daggone crazy just how similar these models are showing it. I mean, literally, you saw back on the RAP model that most of our energy was isolated across the areas here towards, like, New York State into, obviously, Boston. And, but yeah, it definitely does look like that is playing out as well. We're going to go ahead and grab another sounding here. We're going to pull it for 8 o'clock. Once again, we're going to do it in central portions of Connecticut. We're going to see what's going on here. We're also going to take another sounding here. We're going to go back a few hours. We'll grab another one here in east central New York. So the first one here for Connecticut, once again, I mean, quite daggone similar. That's almost contaminated. If it goes any further than that, I would not take that sounding seriously. This one shows, once again, 12-kilometer top storms, definitely quite high up there. You see that little bit of a curve, that little bit of a hemisphere, going on there, right there. It is showing a little bit of a notch there, so that kind of means that maybe an isolated tornado or two could be possible, even though this says severe. You really can't just trust all of that yet. So the winds are blowing to the northeast at the surface, and once again, they kind of move a little bit more to the east the higher you go up in the atmosphere, which definitely can support the possibilities. And like I said, the instability is at 2,500. Like I said, really anything over 500, that's kind of where the severe line starts, and we're well above that. DK actually a little bit higher, so damaging winds might be a little bit more of a support here. We'll get the tropics here in a minute. Here's another one. This was the one that was across east central New York, and you can see the photograph once again showing that little hemisphere. So what this means, and what we've observed based off of the models here from 2 of the models, is that yes, we are going to have a moderately to pretty decent unstable atmosphere here for tomorrow across the northeast, which is going to indeed allow for some thunderstorms to fire off here. And yes, all types of hazards will be possible. I can actually see that. It would honestly not be surprising. I mean, if we do get an upgraded threat, honestly, based off of what I'm seeing here, I feel like they're just probably waiting for the next models to come out here. They might actually increase the threat. HRRR doesn't really show much of too much happening. Kind of a lot more convective inhibition, but you guys don't know what that is. Basically just preventing from storms firing off here. So basically a big blanket in the atmosphere preventing it from firing off. But obviously, no, that's not the case when looking at reflectivity. But still, so yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at there. So we just looked at 2 models. Honestly, I think we're about ready to go here for tomorrow. So you guys just please stay safe out there. We're going to go ahead and move on back here to my main screen. We're going to go ahead and show you guys. Let's see, we've got some more comments coming through here. Let's see here. Is Ohio supposed to get any bad weather? So, that's actually a really good question. So when it comes to severe weather for today, at least, nothing's expected. Now, this event for tomorrow is not going to reach as far as Ohio. No. The farthest south as it's going to reach, or the farthest west it's going to reach, is pretty much northeastern Pennsylvania. I mean, portions of northern New Jersey. Now, yes, they could extend it a little bit more for the south. I believe that they will probably extend this down a little bit more to the south. I really have a good feeling on that. And also maybe extend the slight risk a little bit more to the south as well. We'll see. We'll definitely watch it out and see what this does. But Absolutely. But yeah, so like I was saying, guys, this is our risk for tomorrow. Like I said, in the yellow has a little bit higher of a chance of seeing severe weather. This is the possible area here, the threat level 1, and this is more the likely area in threat level 2. But yeah, so that's what we're looking at. Let's see here. Can I take a look at the photograph for Albany area? Towards Albany, New York? Okay, let's see here. I remember I've seen Albany, New York many times. I just need to pull it up here because I'm very, very bad with locations and remembering. Because you got to think, I'm looking all over the place here. You think I'd know it, but a pretty bad memory when it comes to that. Okay, so Albany, actually, we just looked at that one, actually, there in Albany a few minutes ago. If we looked at it, yeah, it was definitely showing the possibility of all types of hazards being possible. So, but once again, my friends, like I said, obviously, here across the dark green and the yellow, you got yourself a severe potential for tomorrow. Once again, storms are kind of expected to fire off between 2 and 4. We're probably going to be live around 3. We might need to change that time if, we'll just kind of wait until storms really start to fire off, and then we might go live earlier. Who knows? We'll pull the plug. But I'm going to set it as of now for 3 o'clock. And obviously if storms start to happen earlier, or if they start getting really bad earlier, then I'm obviously going to probably go live earlier. We'll see. But yeah. So once again, my friends, please stay safe out there. Let's go see Illinois sandwich between the rains, says Gene. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. Brad, thank you so much. Upgrade to category 2. My man's going up the list. Thank you so much, man. Huge shout out goes to Brad. Seriously, big shout out. So self-care as well as Brad, thank you guys for supporting the channel. Really appreciated. Definitely means a lot. Thank you so much. Let's go see. Will West Virginia be good tomorrow? Yeah, like I was saying, I mean, even the same thing for Ohio. As far southwest as this event's going to go is basically northeastern Pennsylvania. That's kind of the line of the severe storms here. And like I was saying, tomorrow there's only one, actually now 2 areas that just popped up here not long ago. That's relatively new. Let's see. Okay, tornado's not a concern for that. Hail's a possibility. Okay, and damaging winds. Okay, so we might have another area to watch. Huh. But obviously the main event is this guy up here. We're mostly going to be paying attention to you. But yeah, so like once again, my friends, just let your friends and family know that obviously severe weather can be possible tomorrow across these locations. Now, something I really want to show you guys is the jet stream and the kind of the position it's taking. And like I was saying, it's pulling a troughing motion, in which you're gonna see here in 1 second. So, like I said, troughing. I'll explain that here in a second. So let's go and move on back to the models here really quickly, and let me show you exactly what that is. So you can kind of see here. Okay, here's the northeast. Obviously, this is well up in the sky. Your jet stream. So you can actually see the winds are pointing down to the southeast, and you can see how they very, very violently move up to the northeast. Now, like I said, this is what we call troughing. We have an area of low pressure located up here. This is lower pressure the higher you go up. And like I was saying, though, you got to imagine the higher you go up in the atmosphere, the higher north, or the further north you go, the more cooler it gets. So what's actually happening here is you're getting some cooler air being pushed down, being pulled down, I should say, whenever that happens. So obviously a little bit more of that, the cooler air pushing or pulling down to the southeast, and actually you have the opposite effect happening from the south. You actually have some warm air moving up northeast. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Obviously when we have that mixing zone right in the middle, where the cold air clashes on that boundary between the warm air and the cold air, and that's your cold front, and that's that line that could form off tomorrow. And so that's kind of what we're looking at. So there's your trough. That's kind of what I was telling you guys about. And like I was saying, I mean, honestly, I think everything looks like a go for tomorrow. I mean, things are definitely there's a pretty unstable atmosphere that's going to be there tomorrow from this little system here. It's pretty crazy. Let's go ahead and see here. But once again, Brad, thank you so much. And self-care, you guys helping out the channel. Greatly appreciated. Let's go ahead and see here. Judy says, I prefer you keep those warnings away from New Hampshire. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. And like I said, Judy, stay safe tomorrow. And if you have any questions, let me know. Seriously, that goes to everyone out there. If you have any questions, obviously we're here right now. This is a preparedness live stream, or a pre-event preparedness live stream, because we want you guys to be aware of what's going to possibly happen tomorrow. And like I said, this is the current forecast. You're seeing it for first time here, so you're seeing it from what I'm seeing in my perspective. So it's gonna be pretty interesting to see how this plays out here. Obviously, a late August event is, I wouldn't say is rare. I mean, I guess it's kind of rare in some aspects, but not really extremely rare. Let's see here. Karen says, hi, Andrew. What's up, Karen? Hope you're doing good. Glad to have you here. that have all of you guys here for today. So like I was saying, that's kind of what we're looking at. Now, something I do want to briefly talk to you guys about. I'm sure you guys are all wondering about it, and yes, I understand a lot of people want to want updates on it. So yeah, we are watching a few tropical systems out there. We have currently 2. They're not tropical systems yet, but they're disturbances. We just had the area of low pressure that just crossed over the Windward Islands here just a few hours ago. Before we made our video, that was actually behind the Windward Islands. Now it's in front of, or vice versa. Now, like I said, this is expected to move its way to the west here, and basically, once this X moves its way into, obviously moves it into this yellow circle, that is what we call the development zone, and that is where this thing could go tropical. So, that's what we're looking at. The models are very much in disagreement right now. Nothing to worry about. As of right now, guys, there's no need to spread panic. There's no need for anything of that right now. If you see any posts, I can't tell you how many posts I've seen of people telling the states to already prepare for this. I'm saying, yeah, you should watch out in the states here along the eastern coast, but I'm not saying you should literally go all out and seriously go out and shopping and stuff like that. No, there's so much unknowns right now. Now, if this system, the big if, it gets near the states, you know that we're going to let you guys know well in advance. I mean, we usually know about 5 days out at max of where this could end up. So obviously this is still well over a week, and so we still have a lot of days to go through before we actually have an idea. We'll also take a look at the models in regard to the tropics too. We just got the latest GFS model, just came out here not too long ago, and I was watching the beginning portion of it as I was coming out, and I only seen a little bit of what happened. I didn't even see the full thing. So, but yeah, so we're just gonna keep an eye on it, guys, and we're definitely gonna look at the models here, and we'll do that towards the end of the live stream here for today. But like I said, the main concern here, the main reason we're live here is obviously to inform you guys of tomorrow's severe weather potential. And like I was saying, all types of hazards is possible, ranging from possible tornadoes to large hail to damaging winds. I mean, obviously, our main concern is damaging winds. I'll go ahead and show you guys the damaging wind outlook here. Regardless if you're in the green or the yellow, you got yourself a threat tomorrow. Now, when it comes to damaging wind possibilities, you can obviously tell here, like I said, you can obviously tell that this is a pretty interesting event that's ongoing here. Like I said, we have that level 2 out of 5 across the yellow, and we have our level 1. Now, regardless of what level it is, even if it's a level 1 out of 5, it still is a severe threat level, and honestly, it should still be monitored. Now, the thing is, like I said, there's a 5% chance we could see some damaging winds, 60 miles per hour or more, again, across every single 25 miles of a point. So repeating every single 25 miles, you could see a 5% chance of damaging winds falling inside of that box. And we have a little bit of a triple the threat here, up to 15% probability. So obviously across the yellow, there's a better chance you could see some damaging winds across the areas. Obviously, like I said, the main concern is areas here towards obviously eastern New York here. Let's go and see here. Jenny, thank you so much for the super chat. Greatly appreciated. I'm just now seeing your comment saying, hello, what's up, Jenny? Thank you, seriously, so much. You guys are definitely really awesome today. Thank you guys so much. Greatly appreciate it. Huge shout out goes to Jenny as well as Brad in self-care. You guys have really helped us out today. Thank you once again, y'all. But yeah. But like I said, guys, that is kind of what we're looking at. So across portions of eastern New York, obviously Vermont, New Hampshire mix, portions of Massachusetts and Connecticut, that's where the greatest potential and maybe some damaging winds could be. So we're definitely just going to keep our eyes on it. We're going to watch it. Now, like I was saying, though, there is other threats as well. And like I said, when you look at hail, there's only that level 1 out of 5, but still, like I said, regardless, it is a severe threat level and something we definitely should monitor. So maximum hail size tomorrow is expected to be around the quarter size range, or 1 inch range, I should say. Now, can we have some larger events? Yeah, it's possible. We could have some relatively larger hail sizes being possible, but most of them are kind of expected if they happen to be around 1 inch. 5% chance, once again, every single 25 miles. I mean, this literally repeats every 25 miles. So the overall chance is quite large of having some damaging hail for tomorrow. You got to think of that. So there's a lot of 25-mile boxes that can fit inside this shade of color here. And of course, in regard to tornadoes, sharing the same area as the hail. I mean, there you go. We have ourselves a relatively small 2% chance. But that's 2% more chance of having a tornado than we want, obviously. Now, like I said, every single 25 miles, that increases. And since we are covering a decent amount of ground here, like I said, obviously, seriously, pretty daggone crazy. So we definitely have really got to watch out for this. So like I said, it's a small chance, yes, but it does cover a decent amount of area, which overall increases one of those of actually happening inside of the Northeast for tomorrow. But that's kind of what we're looking at. But yeah. Let's go ahead and see here. Jonathan says, I'll see everyone tomorrow. We'll see you later, Jonathan. Thank you so much for joining us, my friend. I was going to see St. Louis is safe. So, yeah, in regard to tomorrow, yeah, St. Louis is well in the clear here. Like I said, we're just watching most of the Northeast, and like I was just mentioning here a minute ago, we actually have a secondary threat that just got issued here, I think in literally the last update here, not too long ago. Eastern portions of Montana, northeastern Wyoming, and west central portions of South Dakota. Does have the severe potential for tomorrow as well. But yeah, so like I was saying, though, obviously we got to watch out for tomorrow's. And like I said, we're going to bring back up the models here in regard to timing for obviously the new people who are joining us. I want to go ahead and let you guys know, like I said, in regard to timing and stuff like that of when we can see these storms actually fire off here. So let's go ahead and switch on over to that here. Right now. So first up, we're going to have what we call the NAM 3-kilometer model. Obviously, we can't just trust one model in specifically because that would be quite biased, and you don't want to look at just one model because each model has its own opinion. If you take an opinion from one source, not very reliable thing to go off of. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this in many other different ways, but obviously we really just gotta go off of multiple sources in order to gather as much information as possible. So first up, we have the NAM 3-kilometer model. The time is in the upper left-hand corner, so right now we're looking at 1 o'clock in the morning for tomorrow. Now, obviously, storms aren't going to be firing off at 1 in the morning, or at least severe storms anyway. A few showers could be possible overnight. But as we start to progress here down the line, you're going to notice a lot of that activity really starts kind of growing here. Between 2, 3, and 4. And obviously continuing here maybe around until 10. So obviously I kind of expect the storms to fire off here maybe around 2 and maybe last until around 10 or so. So once the sun goes down, I do expect the energy to quickly diminish, and I do expect for obviously the potential to quickly drop. So, but yeah. So that's kind of what it looks like. So once again, my friends, as you've seen right here, first of all, storms is looking to fire off maybe around between 2 and 4. Definitely is a possibility. Now, like I was saying here, we have our main line that's going on through right now. So obviously this is the cold front that's moving its way through the region. And so what I believe personally, based off of the model guidance and what I've seen over the last several runs and stuff like that, I believe this event is likely going to be a long line of storms, but I think it's going to start out more of like cluster. I think it's going to start out more isolated, then maybe grow into a line, and perhaps maybe even having some more of those isolated, more individual cells firing off ahead of the cold front. And then, like I said, obviously the cold front will go through, sweep up the rest of the instability, and obviously create those thunderstorms along the line. So it's a pretty big chance. I mean, overall, having thunderstorms across the Northeast tomorrow, I'd say at least have an 80% chance of seeing that, just because of the fact of how long this line is potentially going to be. It's going to be covering a lot of ground. Okay, obviously that's something we got to watch out for. But like I was saying, that's one model. Obviously, we can't just look at one. Here's the HRRR model. You can see around 1 p.m. Yeah, this does not go out as far, so we're going to have to drop down and run, or a few runs here. You can actually see here, kind of a similar to thing than what we're looking at here towards NAM. It's looking relatively similar here. Initiation between pretty much 2 and 4 here. But yeah, so like I said, that's kind of what is going on at the moment. So once again, it might start out multicellular. It might just start out like a bunch of cells, but then eventually turning into this possible line here. I didn't mean to have my pen that thick there. But anyway, so yeah, then obviously a few cells could obviously pop up ahead, and some, yes, could go severe. Definitely is a possibility. So, but yeah, so that's just come to the kind of, something to watch out for. We'll go ahead and take a look at one more model here as a idea. Now, this one is actually a little bit different. This one's kind of on the difference between the HRRR and the NAM. Now, those two models were actually very, very much in agreement mode, and but these two right here, these guys are actually, this one's actually showing more of a scattered, more of a type of individually isolated cluster type of storms here. So that is something to watch out. Now, but there is a similarity between all these models, is that, yes, storm is expected to fire up between 2 and 4. So we're going to go ahead and set, after I get off the live stream here, after we head off in a little bit, I am going to be letting you guys know. I'm obviously going to be, letting you guys know what time we're going to be going live. So I'm going to set it at first for 3 o'clock. If storms fire off early, then we'll go live a little bit earlier. And obviously, if they go off a little bit later, then we'll probably wait a little bit. But we're going to target for 3. As of right now, we're going to target for 3 because that's the mean of what the models say, is the average of what the models are saying here. So definitely something to watch out there for. So, but once again, like I said, for the people joining us, to show you guys the area that is included, Once again, it's across portions of the northeastern United States. That is where tomorrow's threat is localized here too. Definitely something that we are going to watch out for. Like I said, we are going to be giving you guys coverage on it as well. So as it's going down in real time, you'll definitely be able to stay up to date with us, and we'll definitely keep you guys updated here. But like I was saying, there's 2 different levels of severe threat for tomorrow. Like I said, there's a first level, level 1 out of 5, and there's a level 2 out of 5. Now, like I said, regardless of what level it is, that doesn't really matter as much. I mean, yeah, it does depict the intensity and obviously how many storms you could see, but still, regardless, you should still treat this the same as you normally would, because obviously damaging winds, hail, and possibility of a tornado or 2 could still happen tomorrow. And regardless, you should be prepared of no matter what level it is. It is definitely the severe possibility, and that's still there. So obviously the areas here that has the better potential of seeing some severe storms is across eastern New York, portions, the majority of Vermont, New Hampshire, pretty much a lot of the central and northern portion of Connecticut, pretty much a lot of Massachusetts too, kind of excluding Boston. But I tell you what, I have a feeling that this threat might be actually extended to the coastline too. The reason is because, like I was saying, there's lots of energy there. Lots and lots of instability, and it does share a pretty similar environment than it is to the slight risk zone. So I believe they're going to keep the slight risk here, at least for now, but that's what we're talking about. And like I said, we're just going to keep our eyes on it. We're going to see what this is going to do here, and it's definitely something that we need to watch out for. Let's see here, but yeah, let's see. Karen's here. What's up, Karen? Hope you're doing all right. I don't know if I said that already or not. Let's see. Brad says, Andrew, if I bought the radar shoes, how long does shipping take? Can you ship red? Okay, so red, no, but like I said, it really varies, depends on where you're at. I've had some take a week, and sometimes they've taken longer, which honestly, I mean, shipping can't, it depends on what it is. With the shoes, I've had, I think, last person to order shoes, I think it got there in a week. So expect about a week delivery or so. I'd say honestly 1 to 2 weeks, just to be safe here. For delivery. And like I said, if you guys do want to check that out, it's just all in the description. Like I said, obviously that's there if you guys want to look at it. But yeah, so that's kind of what's expected for tomorrow. And like I was saying, tornadoes is a concern here. Like I said, the area where tornadoes is going to be possible at is obviously eastern portion of New York, portions of Vermont, New Hampshire, portions of Connecticut, and Massachusetts. So these areas here in the green is the area we need to watch out for maybe an isolated tornado or 2 that could happen. And like I said, obviously hail is kind of covering the same area, maybe some quarter-size hail. Some hail getting up to quarter size, being a possibility. But when it comes to damaging winds there, that's why we have that level 2 in effect, is because we're really starting to think here, with that cold front moving through, that line of storms moving through, I really believe that we are going to see this long, continuous line of possible straight line winds being a possibility. So in these areas here, we could see maybe some damaging wind gusts. Honestly, I'd even say up to 60 miles per hour for the most of them. Maybe an isolated event, maybe getting up to 70 miles per hour possible. I'd say 60 mile per hour wind gusts is more of a friendly way to say it, or more of a good way to go by as of right now, at least. But obviously, as the night continues, I'm going to be progressing the models and stuff like that. But like I said, you guys, don't worry about this event. Obviously, just be prepared for it. I'd say recommend, just locating. If you have a first aid kit, locate it. I mean, obviously, and if you just know where to go in case, say, if a tornado warning is issued. That's all I'm going to ask here for you guys today. Is if you guys, I'm going to go ahead and say right now, we're going to bring back up the tornado probability. And if you guys are living anywhere in these locations, or if you know anyone who lives in these areas here in green, give them a heads up. Give them a shout out. I know it's not like a big threat for tornadoes. Obviously this is considered the lowest threat, but it covers a decent amount of ground here, and obviously the Northeast is quite a populated place. So regardless, if you know anyone across eastern New York, portions of Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Connecticut, give them a heads up here. Let them know, and ask them, where would you go in case there was a tornado? And obviously, if there's a tornado warning issued, you got to act quick. And like I said, tomorrow we're going to be live during this event. We'll be able to tell you if a tornado warning is issued and where the impacted areas would include. And like I said, during a tornado situation, where you would want to go is obviously as low as possible. If you could go in a basement or a storm cellar, if you have one of those, obviously the number one place you want to go to. But say for a lot of people who don't really have basements, so I'd say the secondary best thing to do is go to the central interior portion of your home. Put as many walls, think of your, obviously I don't know your house layout, but put as many walls between yourself and the outside as possible to provide multiple barriers of protection. So that's kind of the main thing. So and even if you don't have that, say you're living in a trailer, ditch the trailer. I'm not even joking when I say that trailer is not going to provide any protection at all. And like I said before, it's just going to be tossing. If a wind gust hits it, it's going to start tossing. It's going to be rolling like a tumbleweed. I'm telling you. I'm not trying to scare you guys. I'm just letting you know the best place to go. So in that case, if you were in a trailer, the best place to go to would obviously find someone who has a basement or a storm cellar or a sturdy building. But if none of that's nearby and you're absolutely in a trailer, not near anything, the best place would be is go to a ditch and obviously cover your head, because the debris is going to have a harder time hitting you with that angle of attack. Obviously, being down in a ditch is a lot harder for debris to hit you, and obviously the air can't really rush up against or under you to pick you up. So obviously that's kind of like the last case scenario type of thing, is to go in a ditch there. But yeah, let's go and see here. Anti says, "Sup? What's up, man? Hope you're doing all right." Let's go and see here. Hope you guys are staying safe during this stormy day. Like I said, anti-spiral, like I said, right now, this is not for today. This is for tomorrow. And like I said, the reason we're alive here for today, my friends, is because obviously letting you guys know what's going to happen here for tomorrow and stuff like that. So, but once again, my friends, thank you all so much for joining us today. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. And obviously, this goes to anyone out there. If you have any questions at all, let me know. We got you guys covered, and obviously we're going to make sure that you guys are staying up to date and make sure you guys are staying prepared, because obviously that is our main concern here, is to keep you guys informed, and obviously that is our number one thing here. So, all right, my friends, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to switch over to the tropics really quickly. We're going to let you know what the latest GFS has to say, but first we're going to start off kind of like we did in our first video, or our video for today, I should say. We're going to take a look at each of these runs here. So obviously here is the tropical models. Take a look at the GFS run. This is our global forecasting system. This is the American model. So the first run was initiated at, obviously this was from yesterday. So it actually initiated here at 8 o'clock p.m., which is 00Z, or basically 0 UTC was 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So this is in Eastern Time, by the way, in the north. You look at the top left, that's where the time is. So, but anyway, so this is the first run from today. You can obviously tell there's a lot of gathering of moisture going on here across portions of the Caribbean. Obviously, there's these two areas we're watching here as well, but watch out right here. You can obviously see that low tracking into the Gulf. Now, we're going to go ahead and mark a point here. We're going to start off with blue. We're going to go ahead and mark a little dot there. Make this dot a little bit bigger. So here's what we're going to do. So we're going to obviously do that. We're going to track down, and we're going to see what it's going to do. So obviously this, I'm going to go ahead and say it off the bat. Do not panic based off what you're seeing. This is still very far out. The chances of this actually playing is very, very unlikely, and you're about to see exactly why. Okay, so first of all, this first model from today has this system tracking and hitting the coast of Texas. Now, like I said, this is still very, very far out, okay? Keep that in mind. Now, here's the next run. Now, this one's actually very, very similar compared to what the first run is, which the consistency between these two runs is actually pretty impressive. But this one actually does show the intensity being a lot stronger. But watch this. I see you guys are probably worried about this. Now, like I said, there's no reason to be right now, because look at what happens on the third run. It completely just dodges to the south and hits eastern Mexico. So that just kind of goes to show you just how unstable these models are still. And basically just to show you how different the models are throughout the day. And we just had our latest one come through, and this is kind of what it's showing, hitting right towards the middle. So you can kind of see here, the trend that you guys are looking at, this is actually the first time me seeing this last run, you can really see how it just kind of, really spaces out. There's so much unknown as of right now. Now, the chances of this system forming in the Caribbean portion, it's decent probability. We'll get to that more here in a second. It's a decent chance that I believe that this thing will form. But the big question is once it moves into the Gulf of Mexico, that's kind of the thing. We don't know what's going to happen. That's the thing. We don't know what's going to happen. So, any of these areas here, like I said, no need to panic, because there's a chance that most of you won't get hit at all by this. I mean, if it even hits the United States, as one of the models was actually showing it hit Mexico, if it even is a big enough system to really be paying attention to. So, there's a lot of questions at this point. When it does come to the models here. So obviously that's going to be something to watch out for. But yeah, so we're going to keep an eye on it. Now when it comes to other models, we're going to go ahead and pull up the ensembles, kind of like we did here yesterday, or during our video today, to look at the spaghetti plots. Obviously these are some pretty important data feeds. Now this is one model with a bunch of what we call members, basically a bunch of little runs. obviously different calculations and stuff. So this is kind of what the ensembles have to say about all this. So obviously, yeah, lots of activity really firing off here. Go ahead and zoom into this a bit. So you can obviously tell the ensembles are showing a lot of support of something moving into the Gulf of Mexico. Now, where this is going to end up in the Gulf is still very, very much unknown at this point. And then we obviously have disturbance number 2 firing off here and moving its way to the west. It's still very unknown what this is going to do as well. And according to this model, we actually have a third and maybe even a fourth one now starting to pop up here. We've been seeing this guy in the models. This is not a disturbance yet, but this guy's been popping up here for a little bit. But obviously at this point, this is like literally 2 weeks out. This is still very, very far out. So the chances of that happening is still quite low. And then obviously we have another little something firing off here. So just to go to show you guys, the tropics is very, very much heating up. And just because you guys are not, there's no area in the United States that's specifically at risk right now, I'm going to say it right now, we are definitely getting very, very active. And something I really want to show you is, I'm sure sometime in your life you guys have heard of the term La Nina and El Nino. Now, this mostly affects the winter times, but it also does affect tropical seasons very, very well as well, or very, very strong as well. And typically for hurricane season to be strong, kind of similar to 2020, where we had 30 named storms, which is literally like double. It's literally like 2 hurricane seasons in one, basically. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a crashing La Nina. So negative values is basically representing a La Nina. 0.5, negative 0.5 to positive 0.5. This is the, or I should probably do it right there. I was a little off there. Negative 0.5 to positive 0.5, that is the neutral zone. That's the normal zone. This is a Nina or El Nino, and then this is a La Nina, so down here. So obviously you can see that we recently, since this month, we've seen a big crash into basically the deeper La Nina territory. So we're actually in a moderate La Nina as of right now, and this heavily influences basically the trade winds at the equator. So basically the winds that flow from the east to the west are slowing down a lot, lowering the overall wind shear. Basically, with wind shear is basically just winds at different elevations, and you do not want wind shear with hurricanes, because that would actually rip apart the storm. Depends on which. If you're in favor of a hurricane, wind shear is something that you do not want to have. Okay, but the big concerning thing is like I was saying though, the big concerning thing is the fact that it's literally the winds are weakening, meaning these storms are going to have less limitations than they would during a normal season. So that is something that we have really got to keep an eye out here for. This is something that we have really got to watch, and so we'll definitely watch it. Let's go ahead and see here. Zipper says, I'm excited to see the first big hurricane possible. Now, Zipper, like I said, obviously we're not even sure if it's going to become a hurricane yet. I know a lot of models are suggesting it, yes, but still, it's still a little bit out. It's still literally over a week out, so definitely anything can happen at this point. So let's go and move on back here, though. I'm going to zoom in on this, guys, and we're actually going to take a look at the... we're going to pull up the ECMWF model. Now, as we were watching, this model in particular was really not in much of agreement mode here for today. We're going to track it down here. Just going to see what's going to go on with this. Yeah, so obviously ECMWF really doesn't show much happening. This is another subject we got to talk about here too. We're going to bring this up here today as well. But like I was saying though, I mean, for the most part, this specific model doesn't really show much happening. The ensembles, the National Hurricane Center, GFS, I mean, we have lots of sources saying that this is likely to happen here. But there's still a lot of question marks here, obviously. This is the CMC model, and this guy actually really isn't showing much either. But it's just going to be monitored over the next little bit, and as we start to get more data coming in here, obviously we'll give you guys the updates and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's kind of that's kind of what we're looking at. So, but anyway, so yeah, that's the kind of the ordeal in regard to the tropical models as of now. Now, speaking of which, since we're on the models, I'm going to talk about a potential cool down, a potential thunderstorm maker here for the country. I'm actually going to shift this to the north. Let's see here, North America. This will probably be a better view to look at it. So we're going to start off with the GFS model. I want to go ahead and show you guys what's actually been the trends here for the last several days. This is actually a pretty decent scenario we might need to watch here. So as we track in time here, kind of for the turn of the month, we're going to have this big wave. This huge area of low pressure that's going to be moving its way across Canada. And the support of this thing has actually been very, very supportive between several models. Not just the GFS, but several several models. We can actually see there's a cold front diving into the United States. Now, this could be good if any tropical system moves its way towards the beginning portion, obviously, of, as it moves its way to the beginning portion, obviously, of next month, then obviously this could act as a blocker. Obviously this is kind of good. This might be a good thing to have an effect here. But regardless, though, that's if anything is in the Atlantic at this point. But still, this model has been showing, or all the models, I should say, has been showing a lot of support between this. And you're about to see the potential impacts of this too. ECMWF, you can actually see here. This one isn't all the way out yet. So, but you can see here, ECMWF right there is showing it a little bit more altered higher, but actually, there's right there. So you can actually see it a little bit more higher, but that cold front is still very much visible right there. So both the models support it. You guys seen it firsthand. Let's try CMC. This guy also showing it. So we're seeing tons and tons of support from this icon model. I'd say at this point, I have at least a 95% probability that this will actually occur. So from the late portion of this month into early next month, literally the first few days of next month, or like the first day of next month, we're likely going to have a pretty strong area of low pressure located across Canada, dragging down a cold front. Now, this could obviously fire off some storms, maybe across the Ohio Valley. That's still pretty far out to tell. Depends on instability and all types of different equations and stuff like that, or different parameters like that. So that's still going to be something to, that's still a subject to change, but still, I honestly would say that we could see a significant cool down for areas here towards the Ohio Valley and the possible northeast here for the beginning portion of next month into the late portion of this month as this cold front will pass through. So obviously storms can be a possible side effect as well of this system forming, and that might be something to watch. Now let me actually show you guys. We're going to move back to the states view. Like I said, this is the icon model showing this system move through. We're going to switch back to GFS for this. Now I'm not exactly sure what the latest trend is, but we're going to keep an eye on it. I've been watching this here for a little bit now. Now, if we move over here towards the temperatures, obviously, if you look at it, you're going to notice as this system powers through, you're going to notice those temperatures actually drop down quite a bit. You can see a big cool down possible for a lot of areas here. Big old cooling down event going on here. So this is for 8 a.m. on September 1st. You guys can see the time there, top left. Now, like I was saying, though, I mean, temperatures could get down maybe even into the lower 50s across those areas. So definitely is something we got to watch out for. I mean, we're talking literally 50s across the northeast. So that things are getting a little chilly. And like I was saying, though, honestly, this whole cold front situation here probably for the 31st might throw some thunderstorms across the Ohio Valley for the 31st. Now, like I said, it's still very far out. And the chances of this happening is pretty daggone low. Very, very capped environment, too. So, honestly, as of right now, not really a big possibility, but we'll watch it. Let's see what the ECMWF model has to say. Once again, this run doesn't go as far. So, the ECMWF model, let's see. This guy is kind of showing... Oh, that's a big drop in temperature right there. There you go. So, kind of back there in the 50s as well. So, honestly, that kind of looks like that might be a pretty a decent potential there. Maybe getting into the 50s. And like I said, this is nothing new to the models. I mean, as we've seen, literally every single model we looked at just now, we looked at 4 different ones. Every single one of those is actually supporting this. And like I said, obviously as of now, we're seeing temperatures possibly in the 50s. And, obviously here for September 2nd. Now, let's actually drive down a little bit further here. This is for 8 o'clock in the morning. So, yeah, so obviously maybe a little bit more cooler down into the lower 50s being possible. And let me see. Let me try icon again. Okay, there we go. There's icon. So, yeah, this one's actually... Wow, look at that. That is really potent, that one. So, like I said, you can see it's a trend. You can definitely tell it's a big trend for a possible big cool down. I wouldn't call it an Arctic blast, but I'd call it definitely a big cool down being possible. So for September 1st at 8 o'clock in the morning, that's the possible temperatures we could be seeing. Now, like I said, obviously, this can still change, but as of right now, really, it's looking pretty daggone good. It's actually looking relatively good. So we're definitely going to keep an eye on it, you guys, and we're going to see what this event's going to be posing to us. So we could possibly see a probably significant cooldown happening here. Let's just try CMC. I don't know if this one really shows it too much. So yeah, obviously it shows those temperatures. Yep, once again, getting down into the 50s across the northeast. So lots of support for possible big chill for the northeast here. Now, this is not during the daylight. This is during like sunrise, though. Just remember that. At the coldest time of the day is obviously at 8 o'clock in the morning usually. But yeah, that's it, you guys. That's kind of what we're looking at. So obviously that's something we do need to prepare for. And obviously the reason why we are live for you guys, my friends, is like I said, we're watching a severe potential here for tomorrow. We do have the threat for some severe storms across the northeast. The northeast really seems like they're in the news here recently. So obviously the northeast, you guys definitely need to continue watching out for possible weather pattern changes. Really from now until the end of this month, into the beginning of next month. I'm seeing a lot of weather pattern changes for you guys. And like I said, we have two different levels here for today. Like I said, we have for tomorrow, we have a threat level 1 out of 5, a marginal risk here. We have a slight risk across the areas here in yellow. So like I said, obviously the more area, we could see some more storms, potentially more damaging and maybe overall more coverage of storms and across the yellow. But like I said, it doesn't really matter what level you are in, because it's still a severe threat level, in which it's still going to need monitored very, very closely. Now, like I was saying, all hazards is definitely possible. You know, with tornadoes here, our main concern, I've seen maybe an isolated tornado or two, maybe a few of them actually, could be possible across portions of eastern New York into Vermont, New Hampshire, really a small sliver in southwestern Maine, or really southern Maine, I should say. Lots of portions here in Massachusetts into portions of Connecticut. So that's definitely something that we have got to watch out for tomorrow. So tornadoes is a big possibility. Hail is kind of sharing the same area. You know, we could see some hail events maybe up to quarter size at some points here. So quarter size hail, I mean, it doesn't seem like much, but it can indeed cause some denting of vehicles, and it is considered severe. And then obviously damaging winds is obviously kind of our main concern here, stretching out to a lot of areas here in the northeast. And like I said, there's a 5% chance every 25 miles. So picture that. A box, say we'll just make a little box of a 25-mile box. So basically, in the brown, that's a 5% chance that damaging winds 60 miles per hour or more could happen in that little box. Now, obviously, this is probably not to scale. It is not to scale. But the thing is that we literally times this by 3 once we move into the yellow. This is a 15% chance of seeing some damaging winds. So once again, in a 25-mile box, square box, 25 miles by 25 miles, 15% chance of seeing damaging winds 60 miles per hour or more. So anything that's loose outside could obviously go airborne and turn into flying debris, and obviously not anything you want to deal with. So for tomorrow, as the storms move through, it would be recommended to obviously be indoors first of all, but stay away from windows, as damage from the wind could obviously be a possibility. Definitely could be a possibility. And definitely something that we have really got to watch out here for tomorrow. The main concern tomorrow is the damaging wind possibility. And like I said, we do have some side effects as well, being a possible tornado or two, maybe a few more than that. Who knows? Depends on how this plays out. I will tell you that the environment is moderately unstable. You know, I've given it a scale from 1 to 5. I'd say we're about a 3 out of 5 in regard to overall instability tomorrow. That's basically the fuel that's needed for thunderstorms. So we have a decent, pretty potent atmosphere tomorrow. And like I said, we have a bit of troughing, you know, area of low pressure sweeping through. Troughing, basically the winds, pulling down some cooler air from the north and dragging up some warmer air from the south, and obviously mixing those together. There you go. You get yourself a cold front moving through the region, and obviously some storms can be obviously a side effect with that as well. So that's what we're expecting. Like I said, storms are expected to fire off here between 2 and 4 for tomorrow. Like I was saying, I'm going to go ahead and guys show you all the models here really quickly in regard to timing. Starting off here with the NAM 3-kilometer model, we're going to go ahead and move up here to the Tropical Tidbits view. So this is currently what we're looking at. Time is in the upper left-hand corner. So as of right now, through tonight, possibility of a few showers and maybe an isolated rumble of thunder being possible with some of these. Mostly for like tonight, like shortly after sunset, which any time now. But as we start to move into like the overnight hours, nothing really going on. But watch this. So here's 12 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. You can kind of see how we're starting to get a pretty organized line of storms starting to kind of fire off. By 4, shows a pretty decent, what we call a linear line, or a QLCS, quasi-linear convective system. So it shows a pretty decent line of storms covered at least a couple hundred miles, stretching, according to this model, from eastern New York through Vermont, through New Hampshire, and eventually moving into portions of Maine. Now, obviously, we can have some isolated severe to strong storms ahead of the line, too. I believe that's a big possibility. So what I think it's going to do, I think it's going to start off with storms more individual, like you're seeing right here, and then after a while, it's going to turn into something like this. But obviously, with that being said, a few isolated storms can obviously still be possible ahead of the front as well. So definitely is something that we have got to keep an eye on here. So once again, the models are showing this times firing off here around 2 to 4. Now, obviously, like I was saying, we can't just trust one model individually here. So let's go ahead and bring back up the we'll bring back up the latest models in regard to the HRRR. So this one kind of is very, very similar in regard to NAM. You can kind of see this main line is actually a little bit more earlier from what it looks like, but obviously this line moving its way through, obviously between 2 and 4. And like I said, obviously this could pose mostly damaging wind concerns, with tornadoes and large hail also being more of the secondary concern. So that's kind of what we're watching there, guys. So it's definitely going to need to be watched here. One more model we're going to look at here really quickly is the FV3. Now this one doesn't really agree with much of what the NAM and what the HRRR has to say here. This one's kind of more of that scattered to isolated storm type of action compared to like what the other models didn't say. But yeah, let's see here. April says, very informative. Thank you, Andrew, for keeping us up to date. You're very, very welcome. Appreciate your hard work. You know, April, that's what I'm here for. Want you guys to be prepared. That's why we're live here for today, is obviously to give you guys preparedness, to let you guys know what possibly could play off tomorrow. And so far in this live stream, we've talked about the tropics, obviously. We're really breaking this event down. We've already broken it down a lot for you guys. And so, like I said, right now, I don't really ask for much, you all. But like I said, obviously, if you guys could, consider hitting that subscribe button while you're at it. It'd be greatly appreciated, my friends. Just thank you all for being here. Thank you guys for hanging out with us here for tonight. And obviously, if you got any questions at all, let me know. We're here for you. We got you guys covered, every single one of you guys. You should not feel scared during these events. And like I said, just know that you are not alone. You're not alone during these events, and know that we got you covered, okay? During every single severe weather event, usually we're live during it. And like I said, tomorrow, for this event specifically, we're forecasting for right now. You bet we're going to be live for it, okay? We're definitely planning on being live here. Let me see here. Hi, Devin. I was going to see, says Karen. Let's see here. Please remember to like the stream if you're enjoying Aaron's forecast. That is for sure. Like I said, I don't really ask for much, guys, but if you are on the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button. I don't believe there's a threat, but just to sure, what's the threat for South Jersey tomorrow? So, like I said, right now, for South New Jersey, as of now, the latest update, there's not one. But, like I was saying, though, I honestly believe, conditionally, I think this threat might be shifted down to the southwest. I kind of think it might be shifted down a little bit more. So I'd say by tomorrow, it's possible you could have a marginal risk for severe weather. Now, that's my personal beliefs. Now, obviously, what actually plays out might be different. That's just based off of my, quote-unquote professional views. But I'd say it's possible. I mean, the reason is that I have a lot of support on this is because, even if we take a look here back at the models here, if I can even find the right tab here to look at, you can see, there's going to be some isolated storms even across portions of southern Jersey being possible. Honestly, I might see this threat being shifted more down into Pennsylvania. I'd say something more like this might be possible, including all of the northeast here, and maybe the slight risk being a little bit drawn down more. I'd say more like this. That's a rough estimate of what I kind of think. But obviously something kind of like that is what I kind of believe might actually happen. Obviously what actually plays out might be a little bit different. But like I said, obviously you can tell there's going to be, conditionally, some of those storms moving its way down definitely being possible. Now, like I was saying, moving on back here to the other models here, if I go ahead and change the scenes for you guys. If we take a look here back at the RAP model, this is our rapid refresh, by the way. And if we bring over here towards New Jersey, southern New Jersey, you're going to notice here that we actually do have a decent amount of instability clocking in towards New Jersey as well. You can actually kind of see here towards New Jersey, we're actually seeing, well over 1,000. And like I said, really anything over 500, this is basically your energy, your fuel that's in the atmosphere, by the way. But really anything over 500, I'd really recommend saying over 1,000 is suitable for severe weather. Anything 1,000 plus is pretty good. And like I said, we're seeing values here at max for tomorrow being around 2,500 and near 3,000 in some areas. Not just according to one model, but multiple models. So I think this is going to be a big concern. And honestly, like I said, I do expect this line of severe storms to possibly track more down to the southwest. We'll see just how that plays out here. Honestly, it's going to need some monitoring here, but hey, we'll find out tomorrow, obviously, because we're going to be here for the coverage as well. Let's see here. Baby Mexican says, "What's up, Andrew? What's up? Hope you're doing good. Glad to have you here." So see, Andrew, we are still in a drought here in Central Texas, hoping for more rain. Loving the cooler temperatures. If you call 90 cool, that is definitely not cool. But obviously, glad to see that you're enjoying the cool weather. Let's go see how much rain is forecasted with these storms. Are we in a drought? So flooding is a possibility. That is a really good question. So here's what we're gonna do about that. I'm actually gonna pull up. Let's see. We're going to pull up the blend of models here. This is what we call the National Weather Service blend of models. As you can see right here, NWSBOM. Blend of models. It basically takes, it's kind of what it sounds like. It takes a bunch of models and it blends them together. to basically give you that. So we're taking a look at the quantitative precipitation in regard to things. We're going to switch up here to the northeast for y'all. So that's actually a good question there. So, okay, so here's obviously the northeast here in regard to potential. So once again, this is basically model outputs blending a whole bunch of these models together. And honestly, it looks like the majority of the rainfall might fall in these locations here. That being portions of eastern New York. Honestly, that's where that main line could move through. Honestly, I'd say at worst, maybe up to 1.5 inches, which, I mean, honestly, probably not a really significant flooding threat, but I'd say it could obviously throw maybe a isolated flooding threat being possible. So I'd say tomorrow's hazards might include obviously tornadoes, damaging winds, and hail as the main concerns, but even lightning and stuff like that, and in regard to possible flash flooding as well. I'd say it's possible. I wouldn't say it's likely, but now let me go ahead and show you all. I want to go ahead and look up something because this is something I really haven't looked at. Here's the Weather Prediction Center here. Let's see here. So here's the outlook. Yeah, so just for tomorrow, they have that marginal risk here. So like I was saying, it doesn't seem likely, but it seems possible. I was dead on with that. And that's basically what the marginal green, basically the green means, is that flooding is possible, but not really likely. So yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. So, but as of right now, nothing too crazy. We do have a pretty decent amount of flooding possibly happening here in the south still. That flooding, believe it or not, is still ongoing here. We're still seeing a lot of action based off of that. But yeah, so that's the outlooks there in regard to the flooding forecast as well. And but yeah, that's kind of that's the wrong thing. That's for my recording. But anyways, but yeah, so that's just kind of what we are expecting here. And like I said, obviously, guys, thank you all for being here. Let's see here. Julie's here. What's up? Hope you're doing all right. Glad to have you here. Julie says, I'm fine. The storm is east of me. We'll stay safe there. Let's go see here. Miss Nama says, makes me feel better. Thank you. You're very, very welcome. Like I said, guys, I got you all covered here. I'm definitely here for you. Like I said, flooding is probably not going to be a big concern. I'd say, honestly, maybe, yes, we could have a flash flood warning or two pop up here as some of the max expected rainfall from the blend of models, a bunch of models kind of blended together and averaged out, is about around 1.5 inches at most. And like I said, obviously, that might be something to watch out for, is possibility of some flooding. Like I said, not a big concern. I'd say that's probably one of the last concerns. But like I said, the main concern tomorrow is damaging winds. Obviously, up to 60 miles per hour being possible. Anything loose outside can easily go airborne. So obviously, you've got to watch out for that. So damaging wind possibilities, hail, as well as possibility of a tornado or two, cannot be ruled out here for tomorrow. Now, like I was saying, guys, here is the risk here for tomorrow. Like I said, basically we have two different levels of severity, going from 1 to 5. 5 being the worst, and 1 obviously being the lower end threat. But still, regardless of what level you're in, it's still severe. It is still 100% severe. So, anyways, though, so that's the thing. So level 1 out of 5 is across the green. This is what we call a marginal risk here. And then we have a level 2 out of 5 across the areas here in the yellow. So the areas here in the yellow has the biggest chance of seeing some damaging winds. And like I said, that does include eastern New York State, Vermont, New Hampshire, portion of Massachusetts, and Connecticut. So those areas here have got to watch out for possibility of obviously some severe storms here. Definitely is being a big possibility. Now, like I said, when it comes to hail, we have that hail threat mostly more isolated across those locations we looked at for the big wind threat here, and same thing with tornadoes. That's kind of the main concern. So, the areas here across the areas here across portions of the. Let me actually move this back to day 2. The areas here across the yellow has all the 3 threats being possible. With tornadoes, with hail, and with damaging winds being a possibility. Now, the areas here in the green kind of has more of that. Damaging wind possibility. Not really hail, not really tornadoes. So the main concern, our eyes are mostly focused on east central New York. This does include some pretty popular areas. I want to go ahead and list off a few areas that this might include. So if any of these places ring a bell to you guys, definitely, if you know anyone who's there at least, give them a heads up tomorrow. So Kingston, Springfield, Massachusetts, portions here of Waterbury, Connecticut, portions here towards Gardner, Massachusetts, Manchester, New Hampshire, portions here of Rutland, Vermont, Middlebury, Vermont, Burlington, Vermont as well, Saratoga Springs, Albany in eastern New York, Kingston as well, and we actually do have a small little sliver here in southern Maine. Now this is across portions here west of Portland, basically just pretty much to the north of Portsmouth for the most part, and south of Bridgeton. So that's the big areas here for tomorrow that's mostly at risk. So once again, you guys, that's kind of what we're looking at across the yellow. Has all 3 threats being possible in regard to possibility of some damaging wind gusts and large hail, and obviously damaging winds, and an isolated tornado or 2 could not be ruled out. So that's kind of what we're looking at. That is indeed kind of what we are seeing here. So once again, my friends, all of you guys out there, just please stay safe here for today. We're gonna keep you guys covered, and obviously make sure that you guys are staying up to date. So obviously, thank you so much. Devin says that he's actually tweeted us something. Let's actually pull up Twitter here. Let's see what's going on with this. Let me see. Okay, I just got it. Devin, it says it's unavailable, by the way. But yeah, so once again, my friends, that's kind of what we're expecting. So I tell you what we're gonna do now. Obviously, for the people just joining us, we're going to talk to you guys about what time the storms are expected to fire off here. So first of all, the time is in the upper left-hand corner. If you guys want to if you guys want to follow along here, this is in Eastern time, by the way. So if you're in Central, just simply subtract an hour. But for the most part, these areas that's included is in the Eastern time. So obviously, that's kind of why we're watching the Eastern time. So anyways, regardless though. So we're going to be looking at a few models here. Take a look at 3 of them. Like I said, obviously we have the NAM 3 kilometer. It's the first one we're looking at. HRR next, and then obviously the FV3 model. Anyways, regardless though, as we track here towards the afternoon here, so obviously 12 o'clock p.m. for tomorrow, you can still see that there's that area of that little disturbance moving through, driving some showers, maybe some storms, but nothing really severe popping off at this point. But watch what happens starting around 2. So you can see between 2 and 4, you can really start to see how the system really gets a hold of itself, firing off this linear line of storms. So obviously this long line of storms is expected to fire off here. So watch out for that being a possibility. So this is what we call a linear event. So it's expected to go in a long line of storms here. Maybe a few isolated storms could fire off ahead of this area, ahead of the front, I should say. It's definitely a possibility. And like I said, what's really going on here in the dynamics-wise is that we have some cold air pushing against the back here, and we have the warm air that's being advected to the north. So basically that intersection point is right there where your cold front is right there where the storms are firing off here. So right where they meet, that is basically where the where the energy is currently centralized. So, but like I was saying, we can have an isolated storm or 2 firing off in front of the cold front here for tomorrow. That's kind of what we're looking at. So, but anyway, so that's according to 1 model. So between 2 and 4 is kind of when we're expecting that. HRR, this model is still, kind of outputting here at the moment. So, but anyway, so as we track down here towards tomorrow, so once again around 2, this one's actually a little bit earlier in regard to storms firing off here. You can see, once again, kind of similar to a line, going on across Vermont, New Hampshire, down into Massachusetts, Connecticut. Once again, cold air pushing against the back here. But yeah, so I kind of expect that linear line to possibly happen. That's kind of like the most case scenario. And obviously, we could have some isolated storms firing off ahead of that front as well. That's kind of what we're looking at. And then obviously, lastly here, we have the FV3 model. Now, this one's actually, sorry, wrong one there. The FV3, this one's actually a little bit different. This one's kind of showing it more isolated, kind of more clustered. Now, my beliefs is that it's going to start off kind of small storms, kind of like these, more like scattered all over the place type of storms. And I believe it's going to transition into a line with some more scattered storms ahead of the front. That's kind of how I believe that this is going to be moving through. But yeah, so that's kind of what we're looking at. So, but yeah, so once again, my friends, all of y'all, just thank you all for being here for today. Greatly, greatly appreciated. So that's just kind of the update here. Like I said, we've been live here for over an hour, so I'm gonna go ahead and ask it now, guys. If you have any questions, let me know, because if not, then we're gonna head off here for tonight and prepare. Obviously, I gotta get some rest here, and we gotta be ready for tomorrow. Because like I said, obviously we have a decent day of severe weather being possible across the areas here in the green and the yellow. Like I said, the yellow is kind of the big place we're watching here tomorrow is across the slight risk, that level 2. But regardless of what level you're in, like I said, regardless of dark green or yellow, severe chance is still there. And honestly, like I was saying, I personally believe that this could get shifted more to the south. I honestly think that this could get shifted more southward. This light risk might be expanded a little bit more to the south as well. But that's just my kind of personal idea. This is kind of what I think. Obviously, it could not, but we'll see. But once again, like I said, any of you guys out there, if you got any questions, let me know. We're going to be here for you guys. And, once again, just big thank you goes to all of you guys here for today. Definitely thank you all for joining us here today. Like I said, big shout out goes to obviously Brad, as well as Jenny, as well as Self-Care. You guys have really helped out the channel today. So once again, thank you so much to our, obviously all to our members as well. So big shout out goes to you guys. And like I said, if you guys would like to, obviously support the channel, links are in the description. But like I said, I don't really ask for much, but Like I said, if you guys could, consider hitting that subscribe button. Be greatly appreciated. And like I said, tomorrow will be live for you guys probably around 3. Because as we did learn between the models is that the most of it, like I said, the most of it was looking between 2 and 4. So we're just going to shoot in the middle and say 3. We're going to try to go live. Now, obviously, if things start really firing off before then yes, obviously we are going to go live a little bit earlier or whenever the storms fire off here. So, but anyways, you guys, once again, if you got any more comments or any questions, let me know. Let's see here. You're usually on point, says Miss Anonymous. I don't know if you're talking to me, but thank you. Let's see here. Jenny says, thank you, Andrew. You're very, very welcome, my friend. Let's see. Devin says, lightning bolt strike. Let me see. Okay, here is something coming in from Devin. Really quickly, we'll pull up this really quickly. Let me actually pull up our Twitter view. Actually, just bring up the whole screen here. This will probably work out better. Anyway, so you can see it. Wow. Holy cow, look at that. Wow, look how bright that is. That's actually pretty crazy. So yeah, hit that transformer right there. And honestly, that, like I said, obviously that tomorrow could be a possibility too. You know, that's something to watch out for. Like, so I'm not trying to scare y'all. I'm just letting you know here. Galaxy says severe storm in St. Louis. Is this right now? Is it currently severe warned anyways? Let's see here. Let me pull up the radar really, really quickly for you guys before we head off here. And like I said, if you guys have any questions, right now is the time to ask it. So let me actually turn off the main radar, and we're going to turn on localized radar here. So we're getting more of that professional radar look here through here. Let me see. Wait for the data to load. It's still loading, by the way. It'll take a second. But yeah, so that's actually pretty daggone crazy, though. So it looks like there's a lot of lightning and a lot of storm activity. There we go. So there it is right there, southeast of Chesterfield. Currently going on here at the moment. Let's see here. Is this severe warned? It doesn't appear to be so, but I think my thing's glitching, so I think it is. Because I'm not getting any special weather statements. So my data feed in regard to warnings is not really working. That might be something to work out for tomorrow. But anyway, so yeah, obviously towards like Kirkwood, Sunset Hills, Afton, Twin Oaks as well. That's kind of what we're looking at. So Galaxy, since you're in the storm, please stay safe, my friend. And like I said, obviously we're going to keep an eye on these too. But like I said, tomorrow, we're going to be watching out for this guy across the northeast, and we'll be definitely giving you guys coverage. But alrighty, my friends, I think that's going to go ahead and wrap it up here for tonight. Once again, big shout out goes to Jenny, as well as obviously Self-Care, as well as all of you guys out there. Thank you so much, and obviously Brad as well. Big shout out goes to you guys for supporting the channel here for today. Thank you guys so much. Thank you all for joining us. Greatly appreciated. And like I said, if you guys do want to help us out, if you guys do want to support the channel, links are in the description. We also have our Discord as well. I actually just yesterday revamped my server. Made it look a little bit better. So if you guys do want to join it, check it out. Hang out with us. You guys got that there in the description. But anyways, y'all, thank you guys for joining us. If you're new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button. We greatly appreciate it. Self-Care says, great stream. Thank you. You're very welcome, my friend. Thank you so much. All of you guys, thank you all so much. Megan says thank you. No, thank you, Megan. Thank you for joining us. And but all right, you guys, thank you all so much for joining us. And the stream will be heading off here in about 2 or 3 minutes. So, but anyways, y'all, thank you for joining us, and I'll catch you all here in the next one. See you guys tomorrow for the Outlook.
Sunday night through Tuesday, east winds 10 to 15 knots with gusts to around 20 knots. Seas 2 to 3 feet. Intercoastal waters a moderate chop. A chance of showers and thunderstorms, then a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms after midnight. A chance of showers and thunderstorms in the morning. Tuesday night, east-southeast winds 10 to 15 knots. Seas 1 to 2 feet. Intercoastal waters a moderate chop. A slight chance of showers and thunderstorms. The marine forecast for the following marine location, Biscayne Bay. Issued at 4:01 p.m. Tonight, east-southeast winds 5 to 10 knots. Bay waters a light chop. A slight chance of showers and thunderstorms after midnight. Friday, southeast winds 5 to 10 knots. Bay waters a light chop. A chance of showers and thunderstorms. Friday night, east-southeast winds around 5 knots. Bay waters smooth. A chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly in the evening. Saturday, southeast winds 5 to 10 knots. Bay waters a light chop. A chance of showers and thunderstorms in the morning, then showers and thunderstorms likely in the afternoon. Saturday night, east-southeast winds 5 to 10 knots. Bay waters a light chop. A slight chance of showers and thunderstorms in the evening, then a chance of showers and thunderstorms after midnight. Sunday, east-southeast winds around 10 knots. Bay waters a light chop. A chance of thunderstorms in the morning. Showers likely. Thunderstorms likely in the afternoon. Sunday night, east-southeast winds around 10 knots. Bay waters a light chop. A chance of showers and thunderstorms. Monday, east-southeast winds 10 to 15 knots with gusts to around 20 knots. Bay waters a moderate chop. A chance of thunderstorms in the morning. Showers likely. Thunderstorms likely in the afternoon. Monday night, east-southeast winds around 10 knots. Bay waters a light chop. A chance of showers and thunderstorms. Tuesday, east-southeast winds 10 to 15 knots. Bay waters a moderate chop. A chance of showers and thunderstorms. Tuesday night, east-southeast winds around 10 knots. Bay waters a light chop. A chance of showers and thunderstorms, mainly in the evening. The tropical weather outlook. Issued at 7:34 p.m. For the North Atlantic, Caribbean Sea and the Gulf of Mexico, near the Windward Islands, a trough of low pressure located over the eastern Caribbean Sea is producing minimal shower and thunderstorm activity. This system is expected to move westward at about 15 miles an hour during the next several days, and environmental conditions could become more conducive for slow development when it moves across the central and western Caribbean Sea by early next week. Formation chance through 48 hours, low, near 0%.